Good morning. I would like to share something with you today that a lot of people think is just they think it's really odd. I was just doing a webinar last week about real estate and thinking about real estate in a different way. The reason that people complain about real estate is they say two things. Well, one thing specifically, but I'll add the second one, okay? The first thing that people say is, don't buy real estate, it's illiquid. You can't get your money out right away. That's a terrible investment. Don't invest in real estate. It's illiquid. And the second thing, and this is more on the psychology side, is real estate is boring. At least good real estate. The best real estate is boring. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. It's not something you can brag about very often because it's boring. People ask you, how's your real estate doing? And you go, nah, it's just chugging along. That's what you can say when you've got a good property. Now, I'm going to argue that those two of the greatest weaknesses of this investment class are actually two of its greatest strengths, especially if you combine one other thing. Real estate is one of the most tax advantaged things you can do in the world. Think about how much tax eats away your money. Tax eats away your money, depending on your income, between maybe 25 to 45% in that range. Generally speaking, 25 to 45%, meaning you get $1, you don't make $1. You make half of that, maybe 3/4 of that. Taxes are constantly eroding your money. Inflation is constantly eroding your money. Fees are constantly eroding your money. We've got all these different things that are eroding our money, and what do we do about it? Well, it turns out that real estate puts these different elements in and creates this super power investing asset. And that is because psychologically, the things that are sexy, we tend to do worse on. The research shows over and over and over that in stocks and in other markets, and listen, I know people who are phenomenal in these other asset classes. And if you know what you're doing, if you're the Warren Buffett of your age, go at it, okay? If you know what you're doing. But most people get excited about something, and even if they bought low and a stock is high right now, you know yourself. If you've invested in Palace, be honest with yourself. When things have done this over and over, you've lost money along the way. You don't buy and then wait for 5, 10, 15 years. You don't do that. And here's the thing, as soon as you buy, every time you sell a stock, every time you sell anything, including real estate, you pay taxes. And again, even if it's capital gains involved in what you were paying, you're still paying an enormous amount of your profits. Every time you sell, you lose some of it. And you buy some and you make some and then you lose some of it. And it ends up that the average investor, research shows that the average investor actually makes almost nothing, especially if you look at inflation and how it's eating away our money, that most investors in most asset classes aren't doing anything with their money. Now here, let's put these three things together, okay? Real estate is illiquid. You can't take everything out at every whim. Secondly, it is slow and boring. The best strategy overall for investing in real estate consistently is put it in there and forget about it for a while. And then the third strategy that we talked about, or the thing that I mentioned, was taxes and how great it is for taxes. If you leave your money in real estate, you're not taxed. You make money from it, but you're not taxed on it. And then you can pull money out of it through a line of credit, and it's tax-free, that you can invest in more real estate or go on a holiday or do whatever you need to do. And then the money that you've borrowed, if you are using it for other investments, actually is tax advantaged again. You can write off the interest as another tax deduction. It's amazing what you can do in real estate, and it works with human psychology. Humans are short-term thinkers. We're short-term thinkers. We make decisions very quickly. And when we do that, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. When we do that, we end up making poor choices over and over and over. Even if we bought Apple when it was 60 cents, if it ever was, and then now it's whatever it is now. Along the way, you've bought and sold it, haven't you? You've lost money along the way. If that was taken out of your hands, if you couldn't sell it, what would it have done for you? You would have been better off. Be honest with yourself. Psychologically, we're geared short term. We go after what's exciting and what's sexy, and yet we lose when we do that. Real estate is boring, it's illiquid, although we've realized it's not as illiquid as we think, because we can pull out a line of credit. We can pull money out actually very quickly, faster than you pull money out of anything, okay? Or just as fast, at least. And then thirdly, it's tax advantage. If you just invest and then don't worry about it for 5, 10 years at a time, it will do what it needs to do. Now, you need to make sure it's a good investment. Like every investment class, you need to make sure it's a good investment off the bat. But my argument for this morning, what I'm trying to convince you of, what I'm trying to help you with, because this is how the average person can create wealth in their life, is that real estate works with human psychology. Human psychology is fast. We want to make fast decisions, and those decisions hurt us the majority of the time. Real estate is slow, it's boring, it's illiquid, and it's tax advantaged. And if you leave your money in there, you will do a lot better. I'm going to do a series, probably over the next few weeks here. I'm going to do a series on why I believe real estate does better than other asset classes on average. I'm going to talk about gold and silver. I'm going to be in precious metals. I'm going to talk about stocks. I'm going to talk about mutual funds. I'm going to talk about a lot of different aspects of business. I'm going to talk about other asset classes that people can invest in, and talk about how those asset classes all have their advantages and strengths. And again, I know people in all of those asset classes that have done extremely well for themselves, okay? But for the average person that doesn't have extreme knowledge of all things in their industry, real estate tends to do better than all of them when you take everything into consideration. I once heard a story. Somebody said that if a human being chooses which pace to run at, a human being in top physical shape can beat any animal on the planet if you choose the pace. So for example, if you choose a cheetah and you choose the pace, choose the pace and the distance, I think. So if a cheetah can go way faster than a human being. It was always my favorite animal growing up because it was so fast. But if a human chooses to jog at a certain pace and runs for 26 miles, now he outpaces the cheetah. A horse runs at certain gaits, but it cannot run at certain speeds. So if you run at a certain speed for a certain distance, again, you beat a horse. It's amazing that humans are not better than any of these in one way. If you just look at strength, humans aren't going to beat anyone. If you look at speed, humans are going to beat. If you look at distance, humans are not going to beat anything, or they're going to lose to a lot of other animals. But if you consider everything that a human can do, and that we can change our pace, we can change the length of time that we're running, the distance, whatever. If you put us against other mammals, that we will consistently win. And that's something, I don't even know if it's true, but it's something that kind of sticks with me. And I think about it and I go, that's how real estate is. Other things are sexier. Other things look better. Other things grow faster. But in the end, real estate stands the test of time over and over and over again. Ask wealthy people how they made their money, or where they put their money to be protected, and consistently real estate comes up. Enjoy your week. Hopefully you'll enjoy this series as I go through it. I'm going to try to make it interesting in a unique way. It's a series of talks that I've had with other people years ago. So I'm bringing them out of I'm dusting them off a little bit. And yet it's completely valid today as it was 5 or 10 or 100 or 200 years ago. Enjoy your week. You've got this.